discuss climate change by sharing their views and learning from others about renewable energy, so that youth know how to take action sooner to contribute to a better future. Before we open our event, let's thank the awesome people that made this event happen. We cannot have been possible without our committees, volunteers, and participants. Their trust, time, and effort make this event a success. We would also like to give a very special thank you to our sponsors. There is IYSRE International, Geodipa Energy, Kilat Wahana Jenggala, New Energy Nexus, PT Thorcon Power Indonesia, and also Jet Orbit. We would also like to thank our partners, University of Malawi, University of Technology Mauritius, UNICAF, APAT 62 Brawijaya, Environmental Oil and Gas Study Club, Meloka, Ikatan Mahasiswa Teknik Lingkungan Indonesia, IATMI SMITB, Team Inferno, IAAS LCUGM, Solar Cooker International, Kelompok Studi Pasar Modal, Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis, Universitas Diponegoro, BEM FMIPA UNY, Kelompok Studi Lingkungan Universitas Erlangga, SPE Islamic University of Riau Student Chapter, Undip Robotics Development Center, Himpunan Mahasiswa Mesin Fakultas Teknik Universitas Brawijaya, Himpunan Mahasiswa Sipil Fakultas Teknik Universitas Brawijaya, European Association Jaya Scientists and Engineers, University of Brawijaya Student Chapter, Yayasan Bina Antarbudaya, Student Energy Chapter Universitas Pajajaran, UGM IGEM Team 2021, HMO Triton ITB, Keluarga Mahasiswa Teknik Penerbangan ITB, Institute of Industrial and System Engineers of University of Indonesia, Ikatan Mahasiswa Metalurgi dan Material Fakultas Teknik Universitas Indonesia, Nano Research Fakultas Teknik Universitas Indonesia, Ikatan Mahasiswa Elektro Fakultas Teknik Universitas Indonesia, Ikatan Mahasiswa Program Internasional Fakultas Teknik Universitas Indonesia, Foreign Policy Community of Indonesia, Chapter University of Indonesia Model United Nations 2021, Himpunan Mahasiswa Mesin ITS, English Students Association, Himpunan Mahasiswa Perhubungan Internasional, and University of Pertamina. On behalf of International Youth Summit for Renewable Energy 2021, we are regretful that we can't meet you all face-to-face due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but don't worry, as we will bring the same level of excitement right here to the comfort of your home. So speaking for all of us, we're hopeful better days lie ahead, and we look forward to being with all of you in person to share our interests in renewable energy in the future. For today's event, we will have a lot of incredible speakers that will bring insights to our pursuit in renewable energy. This event is also streamed on our YouTube channel on SRE National. Without further ado, let us hear the opening remarks from the Project Officer of IYSRE 2021. Please everyone welcome Grace Natasha, Project Officer of IYSRE 2021. The time and media is yours. Okay, seems like the project officer of IYSRE 2021, Grace Natasha, is not here yet. We will move on to our next agenda. We have invited incredible speakers to talk here in Cooperation Chamber in IYSRE. So let us introduce the speakers first. We have Ms. Dian Alfira Rosa from Renewable Energy Skills Development, RESD. Ms. Matilde Sari Gokmauli from Accelerating Clean Energy Access to Reduce Inequality, or ACCESS, and Ms. Pre Romya from United States Agency for International Development, USAID. And we have two amazing moderators. First up, we will have our first speaker of the day, Ms. Dian Alfira Rosa from RESD. Ms. Dian Alfira Rosa will be accompanied and moderated by Amanda. So let's give them a big round of applause. And once again, please welcome Ms. Dian Alfira Rosa. And I will lend the floor to Amanda as the moderator.
Thank you very much, Kendall. Hello and good afternoon, young delegates. My name is Amanda Adin from Bunda Mulia University, and I will be your moderator for two talk shows ahead. So, for the first session, we are going to have a talk show with the component manager of RESD. So, what is RESD? For your information, RESD is Renewable Energy Skills and Development. Uh, and we're going to have Miss Dian Elvira Rosa as the component manager of of information exchange and communication. So please welcome Miss Dian Elvira Rosa.
Hi everyone.
Hello, Miss Dian. How are you today?
Good, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Miss Dian, I'm so glad that we can have you today here. Can you please tell us and all of the renewable energy enthusiasts here about what are you going to present in this talk show?
So first of all, thank you very much for the organizers for inviting me. And today I'll be talking about the Renewable Energy Skills Development Project. I am from GFA Consulting, which is the implementing agency, which has been mandated by the Swiss government to implement the project. And I've prepared actually a short presentation. So let me know when I can start. And also, I'd like to say a special hello to anyone if any of you are from Gajah Mada, because I'm an alumnus from Gajah Mada from the Faculty of Economics there. So, hello.
Wow. Hello, everyone from University of Gajah Mada. You have been greeted by Miss Dian Elvira Rosa. So, without any further ado, Miss Dian Elvira Rosa, the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you, everyone. So just a little bit of introduction. The Renewable Energy Skills Development Project is a G2G project between the Swiss government and the Indonesian government, specifically the Human Resources Agency of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources. So the project has just started this year, and it'll be implemented for the next 4.5 years until around mid-2025. Allow me to share my screen. Can everyone see my screen now? Yeah.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, good. Beforehand, I apologize. I didn't clarify in the beginning if I could do the presentation in Indonesian or English. So I'm going to switch between two languages, and my presentation happened to be in Indonesian, in Bahasa Indonesia. So I hope that you don't mind. I can take any questions, clarifications in English though. So. In Switzerland, actually, you are expected to be fluent or have a working knowledge of the two main languages, Indonesian and English, and your meeting counterpart is expected to understand and also to use either of the two languages between Swiss German and French. So I'm going to adopt that a little bit here because I see that most of the participants are Indonesian anyway. Secara umum ya, proyek Renewable Energy Skills Development itu memiliki tujuan untuk menciptakan tenaga kerja berkompeten dan berkualitas dalam bidang perencanaan, instalasi, pengoperasian, dan pemeliharaan pembangkit listrik energi terbarukan yang sesuai dengan kebutuhan industri. Di sini kata kuncinya adalah sesuai dengan kebutuhan industri. Dan untuk tahap awal ini kita akan fokus pada dua teknologi yaitu solar dan hidro. Adapun relevansinya terhadap tujuan pembangunan Indonesia itu tentunya proyek ini mendukung rencana pemerintah atau target pemerintah menuju transisi energi dan pembangunan rendah karbon. Kita punya, I'm sure that all of you know that kita punya target bauran energi 23% EBT di tahun 2025 dan 31% di 2050. Tentunya to achieve that you need a lot of supporting infrastructure, and not just in terms of the hardware but also the software or the soft skills, including penyediaan tenaga kerjanya. Jadi di sini selain itu proyek RESD juga mendukung program pemerintah untuk elektrifikasi desa, khususnya aspek dari operation and maintenance untuk mini grids yang tersebar di seluruh Indonesia. Untuk desain proyeknya sendiri, jadi proyek RSD itu ngapain sih gitu? Secara garis besar ada 3 kegiatan utama. Yang pertama adalah komponen pendidikan formal. Di sini di bawah komponen pendidikan formal akan dibentuk suatu program D4 spesialisasi energi terbarukan. Di sini spesialisasi, kenapa spesialisasi? Karena ini suatu approach yang cukup inovatif, yang belum ada sebelumnya di Indonesia. Jadi rencananya ini masih dalam tahap pembangunan ya, atau tahap persiapan ya. Nanti mahasiswa lulusan D3 atau mahasiswa yang sudah mengenyam 6 semester dari teknik mesin, teknik elektro, dan teknik sipil itu bisa mengambil upgrade 1 tahun untuk spesialisasi khusus energi terbarukan, yaitu 2 bidang tadi, solar dan hidro. Nah, di sini kenapa kita ambil program spesialisasi 1 tahun dan bukan langsung program D4 Renewable Energy, karena pada dasarnya Renewable Energy itu memerlukan pengetahuan dasar ya terkait electricity dan lain sebagainya. Jadi ini suatu pendekatan yang baru di Indonesia dan kami sedang bekerja sama dengan Kementerian SDM dan Kementerian Pendidikan untuk mewujudkan program spesialisasi 1 tahun ini. Lalu yang kedua adalah komponen pendidikan non-formal, di mana targetnya adalah lembaga pelatihan dapat atau mampu menawarkan pelatihan secara modular yang relevan dengan kebutuhan pasar kerja, sektor energi terbarukan, dan sesuai dengan standar kompetensi nasional. Jadi komponen 1 fokusnya pendidikan formal, komponen 2 pendidikan non formal. Di sini pendidikan non formal ini targetnya itu untuk attract students atau lulusan dari SMK, lalu juga secara umum dari perusahaan juga bisa yang ingin upgrade skills-nya khusus untuk solar dan hidro. Kalau yang pendidikan formal itu programnya 1 tahun, yang pendidikan non formal ini programnya up to 6 months, jadi lebih singkat. Nah, komponen 3 terkait komunikasi dan informasi, this happens to be my specific component. Targetnya itu mendukung promosi untuk pendidikan formal dan pendidikan non formal yang dibangun di bawah proyek. Tapi selain itu kita juga ingin meningkatkan kerjasama atau mempererat kerjasama antara dunia usaha, dunia industri dengan dunia pendidikan, khususnya mitra lembaga pendidikan dan pelatihan yang ada di bawah proyek, dan juga pemangku kepentingan lainnya, termasuk mahasiswa dan pemuda secara umum ya. So that's why part of the reason why I'm here. Jadi meningkatkan kerjasama itu melalui penguatan platform komunikasi, koordinasi, dan informasi. So this is a snapshot of where the project is operating. We are partnering with a few pilot institutions. First of all, polytechnics. Politekniknya ada di Politeknik Negeri Jakarta, lalu Politeknik Negeri Bali, MAK Migas di bawah Kementerian SDM, Politeknik Negeri Ujung Pandang, dan Politeknik Negeri Manado. Why polytechnics and not universities, for example? It is because the Swiss government has a very strong track records in terms of polytechnics and vocational TVET or vocational education, and that's why we chose our implementing partners or our education institution partners from polytechnics because we see the value added dari Swiss itu bisa dari situnya, dari aspek pengetahuan know-how-nya di level politeknik. Lalu yang untuk pendidikan non formal kita akan bekerja sama dengan BLK dan PPSDM atau lembaga pelatihan di bawah Kementerian SDM. Ada BLK Banda Aceh, lalu PPSDM KEBTKE itu di bawah BPSDM Kementerian SDM, lalu ada BLK Lombok Timur, BLK Ternate, dan BLK Ambon. I'll come to this later on. This is relevant because I think we as a project can work together with IYSRE in terms of communication activities in these locations. So a little bit about the communication and information component. I think there are 2 main activities that are most relevant for youth and for IYSRE specifically. Pertama, di bawah proyek itu akan membuat suatu platform digital sebagai gateway informasi pengembangan SDM bidang EBT di Indonesia dan informasi terkait lainnya. Jadi platform digital ini akan berupa suatu website gitu ya, yang kemungkinan akan di-attach gitu, atau rumahnya nanti di bawah website Kementerian SDM. Di situ kita pengen mencantumkan berbagai informasi yang relevan seperti site atau lokasi proyek RISD, lembaga pelatihan atau pendidikan yang menawarkan program EBT, lalu profil lembaga pendidikan itu sendiri, kursus-kursus yang ditawarkan, regulasi terkait SDM EBT maupun regulasi relevan lainnya, e-library teknologi, dan katalog pelaku industri. Jadi kita berharap that this website can be a reference point yang dibutuhkan khususnya untuk mencari segala informasi terkait pengembangan SDM EBT, teknologi EBT yang relevan, yang mana nanti website itu memuat informasi, tapi juga memberikan berbagai link dan istilahnya kontak gitu. Jadi kalau orang masuk website itu, dia bisa gampang sekali mendapatkan informasi yang dibutuhkan. Gitu. Lalu yang kedua akan dilakukan kontribusi atau konferensi dan pameran terkait energi terbarukan dan juga berbagai kegiatan awareness raising. So under this second line of activities, we will partner with a few atau bahkan a lot of relevant stakeholders, di mana kita ada kegiatan utamanya konferensi atau pameran EBT dan juga kampanye energi terbarukan menyasar pemuda dan masyarakat pengguna. Diharapkan nanti melalui konten yang edukatif melalui media sosial, media cetak, lalu kegiatan lainnya misalnya lomba atau essay dan lain sebagainya, itu bisa meningkatkan kesadaran masyarakat secara umum. Itu yang pertama terhadap energi terbarukan. Lalu yang kedua itu agar menaikkan minat youth untuk bisa lebih terlibat dalam sektor itu sendiri gitu, dan bisa melihat peluang untuk sektor EBT sendiri, bahwa ada green jobs yang bagus, ada peluang-peluang yang bagus, potensi yang bagus untuk terjun di sektor itu. Jadi itu secara umum. Adapun potensi kerjasama, ya saya melihat potensi kerjasama yang sangat baik dengan Society for Renewable Energy, terutama untuk kegiatan awareness raising. Jadi melalui awareness, jadi kan tadi di sini terlihat ya ada beberapa lokasi yang menjadi lokasi atau site kegiatan proyek RISD. Di sini kita berharap bisa melakukan awareness raising di kalangan masyarakat dan pemuda secara umum. And I think given that IYSRE is spread across Indonesia, if there are organizations you have here in these locations, we are very interested to create a systematic and maybe a long-term cooperation with you. Mungkin itu saja dari saya. Thank you very much, and I'll stop sharing and I can take any questions and discussions. Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing talks we got from Ms. Dian Rosa. Everyone, please give her a big applause. Well, I'm so happy to hear that RESD has brought so many good changes into Indonesia, especially in renewable energy and environmental aspect. And I'm glad to see, Miss, that RESD is not only concerned in environmental and energy aspect, also about education, right? Mm-hmm. RESD gives so many impact to youth that has interest in education regarding renewable energy and also environmental. Well, thank you for the presentation, and just like what Ms. Dian Rosa said before, now we arrived at Q&A session. And for those of you who have questions, you can scan the slide barcode here, the QR code here, and give your as many as possible. Well, Miss, I guess we already have 2 questions here. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you may answer this. The first one is, apakah ada cara untuk mahasiswa di luar jurusan yang disebutkan tadi untuk berkontribusi pada proyek renewable energy dari RESD?
Yes, langsung aja ya dijawab ya.
Yes.
Jadi kalau di luar jurusan untuk kontribusi itu yes, definitely. Tadi kan saya sebutkan bahwa ada kegiatan awareness raising yang akan dilakukan di bawah proyek. Di sini saya rasa bisa banget gitu. Jadi mungkin Contohnya, RSD bisa membuat suatu partnership gitu dengan SRI misalnya untuk melakukan seri atau kegiatan awareness raising. Apakah itu melalui konten edukatif di sosial media atau membuat suatu kegiatan pertemuan, talk show, atau mungkin terjun langsung ke lokasi site yang tadi yang saya tunjukkan ya di seputar di Indonesia, lokasi-lokasi sekolah politekniknya, BLK-nya di mana, gitu bisa terjun langsung untuk ketemu dengan pemuda di sana, mengadakan kegiatan awareness raising gitu. Jadi definitely ada cara-cara untuk ikut terlibat dan kontribusi gitu. I think maybe the easiest way would be through SRE gitu ya, sebagai mungkin wadahnya, lalu kita bisa buat planning bersama apa saja yang bisa dilakukan. Gitu mungkin secara singkat. Lalu pertanyaan kedua ya, about expanding the coverage to Sumatera and Kalimantan. This first phase is a pilot phase. Jadi di sini kita memang memilih beberapa lokasi. Di Sumatera memang ada, di BLK Aceh misalnya. Di Kalimantan belum ada. So those polytechnics and BLK were chosen based on various criteria that has been agreed between the project implementer and the Indonesian government. In this case, our partner BPSDM. Semoga nanti kalau misal pilot approach ini berhasil, kita bisa expand the coverage in say a second phase gitu. Tapi untuk saat ini minimal sampai 2025 belum ada rencana untuk expanding di mitra lembaga pendidikannya di Kalimantan. How to approach RASD as a university student? Can you be more specific on that? What do you mean? How to approach it?
I think maybe he or she asked, what if a university student want to have a coordination with RASD itself? How to join it? How they can find it?
Yeah, so as a university student, I think one, you can take part or participate in any of the events that we hold, communication events. So for example, if we hold a conference, an exhibition, you will be welcome to attend and take part. For example, akhir November ini RISD akan buat 2 sesi di EBTK Econex. Mungkin teman-teman udah tahu ya EBTK Econex ya, itu suatu kayak flagship event conference yang diselenggarakan oleh METI, Masyarakat Energi Terbarukan Indonesia. Jadi di 2 sesi itu we invite you to take part, to take questions, and of course there'll be door prizes juga, make it more fun. Tapi selain itu, please nanti kalau misalnya web platformnya sudah tersedia, itu nanti we invite you to browse the website atau the digital platform gateway, and we will also be collecting data from institutions that are offering renewable energy programs. So that's where you can take part. And thirdly, through the more maybe systematic cooperation that we will hopefully implement with SRE, that's where you can also come in. I hope that answers your question. Lalu yang berikutnya, untuk bantuan pendidikannya, apakah ada kemungkinan merambah ke arah energi hydrogen? Okay, hydrogen is a hot topic at the moment, I know. But as I mentioned before, we will be focusing on 2 technologies for the time being, which is solar dan hydro. Gitu. Kenapa solar dan hydro? I think that's where the biggest potential lies at the moment, and where the skills and the know-how from the Swiss government, we feel we can provide technical assistance in those 2 areas. Tapi hopefully kalau misalnya proyeknya bagus, berhasil gitu, di fase selanjutnya memang akan ada rencana untuk memperluas ininya, cakupannya gitu, ke energi lainnya. To answer your question though, untuk 2025 fokusnya masih solar dan hydro.
Okay, Miss, that's the question from the audience. But actually, me and myself, I have a question regarding the enthusiasm of the youth in Indonesia to approach RESD. How is it? How is their enthusiasm regarding RESD's project?
So this project has just started at the beginning of this year. So we haven't really done too many activities. But I think that there is really good potential to work with youth especially through associations like SRE. And I'm so glad that, there are a lot of you that are spending your Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon taking part in such an event like this virtual conference. So I'm really happy to see that. I think there is good potential and there is interest there. It's a matter of increasing the scope and increasing, further increasing the knowledge and the awareness and implementing in our day-to-day life.
Okay, well, we really hope that furthermore, RESD can really make a very big impact in renewable energy, especially for youth in Indonesia. Yeah, and I guess we still can open the question session for a few seconds ahead. Miss, by the way, I wanted to ask, is there any plan of RESD later on that RESD will also open opportunity for senior high school students or maybe junior high school students to take a part in RESD's project?
Yes, actually, we are already opening that opportunity. So for SMK people or SMA, if you're interested, those interested can take the modular courses at our partner institutions. The BLK across Indonesia, the selected BLK from Aceh up until Ternate and Maluku, and the PPSDM. PPSDM is probably better suited for companies, but definitely I think for SMK we are open. We are opening our courses for high school students. In the modular courses, and it's more flexible because it's modular, so you can choose which modules you want to take and that is most relevant to your interest.
Okay, well, I guess we still have one question from our Slido. Are there any requirements if we want to take we want to have a partnership project with our university's SRE student chapter?
So there is no strict requirements or anything. Maybe the most important one is you can operate or you have a strong network in the location that we are targeting. So if you remember the map that I showed you, the locations where our partner polytechnics and BLK, Balai Lembaga Kerja under the Ministry of Manpower, where they are located, if there is a student chapter in those cities or locations, we are definitely very interested. So I think that is the most important factor because we want to do activities, awareness raising activities, especially in those locations.
If I may know what the raising awareness we can do, we are still
sorry, you're breaking up. I can't hear you clearly.
Hello?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. If I may know, what are the raising awareness activities that provided from RESD that can be done by the youth, knowing that I guess there's still so many Indonesians have low knowledge regarding the renewable energy.
Yeah. So actually, this is an area where we from the project are very open to suggestions from the youth partners, because you know best how to reach your peers, right? So the way we approach it is we are open to ideas. What we have in mind at the moment is through creating educative content through social media. So, for example, creating videos and then maybe post through Instagram, Twitter, so a series of educative content. And then secondly, maybe creating or writing articles in printed media or electronic media, magazines, newspapers, and so on. And then conducting maybe, like a competition, say a writing competition, or a photography competition, and so on. So I think the awareness raising, the specific forms, we are open 2 suggestions on what you think would reach the target best, the target being the youth and masyarakat secara umum ya, in each of the locations that we want to conduct the activities. But those are some of the ideas that we have in mind.
Okay, for the last question, maybe for our closing today, what is your hope and why you think youth should really concerned about renewable energy started from now?
I think that's a very important question and a very good one. Youth are the future. I mean, it's as simple as that. You guys are the future of our country. So our hope lies with you. And renewable energy, there is no turning back. I mean, now is the time to really take interest in it, because the future in energy is in renewable energy. We are phasing out coal and other, fossil-based technologies, because there is no other option. We are in a state where the world really needs to focus on renewable energy and cleaner energy and more sustainable approaches in life. So I think renewable energy is the future, and youth are the future. So it's a perfect marriage.
Well, give a round of big applause for our speaker today, Ms. Dian Rosa, everyone. I'm so glad that we can hear such an inspiring talks today. And yeah, especially I want to give thanks to Ms. Dian Rosa itself and also the RESD to bring so many good changes into Indonesia and its youth.
Thank
so, Ms. Dian Rosa, I would like to say thank you again. And yeah, I hope we can meet again in another opportunity, still talking about the renewable energy and environment, but of course, with a further more development in the project of RESD.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Miss. Okay, and thank you also for the audiences that have given great questions, interesting questions. Such you are very a geek of renewable energy, and I would like to know your project ahead regarding this. And yeah, Miss Dian Rosa, are you still there?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before, I'm sorry, I forgot that before closing, we will have a photo session.
Okay.
Okay. So, guys, have a good pose. And operators, are you ready?
I think we should ask people to turn on their camera if possible, because hardly anyone is turning on their video.
Hi, everyone. Please turn on your camera because we are going to have a photo session first. Oh yeah, guys, don't forget that this event also streamed in our YouTube channel. It's the IYSRE National. Go watch it and tell your friends, spread it out that we're going to have a very useful talk show session here to spend your Saturday morning. Okay, are you ready? Okay. Greg, are you ready?
Yes, you can start the countdown.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Again. 3, 2, 1. All right. Is it done? I think it's done, yeah, Greg. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is it done, Greg?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much one more time, Miss Dian Rosa. Very interesting talks. And now, since we are done with our first session, we are going to have the second talk show session. Well, can you guys guess our next speakers? Well, our next speaker is from the Access. Do you know Access? Access itself is a project of the United Nations Development Program, or UNDP. And now we're going to have Miss Mathilda Sarigok Mauli, or Miss Sherry, as the National Project Manager of Access Project. Please welcome Miss Sherry.
Hello, hi. Thanks
Hi,
for
Miss
inviting.
Sherry.
Thank you for
Yes.
inviting me.
Yes, of course. How are you,
I'm
Miss Sherry?
good, thank you. Yeah, how are you and how's everyone?
Everyone is good. We're having such a rightful, insightful morning today, since we're having talks from interesting speakers and including you.
Thank you.
Well, Miss Sherry, I'm sorry. Could you please tell us a little bit about what are you going to present here?
Yes, I am going to present mainly about our project, which is Access. It's an abbreviation, the Accelerating Clean Energy Access to Reduce Equality. So mostly on that.
Wow.
Of course, we are also going to touch upon the SDGs and genders and youth, particularly. So.
Oh, interesting. There's a talk about genders and youth again. So, without any further ado, please, Miss Sherry, the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you. I also have prepared short presentation. I'm going to share it with you. Okay, I hope you can see it. Let me make a full screen first. Okay. So you see, it's an abbreviation. That's the Access is the name of the project. It stands for the Accelerating Clean Energy Access to Reduce Inequality. So as Amanda mentioned earlier, we are part of UNDP project, UNDP Indonesia. And as the lead UN development agency, UNDP has identified a set of approaches called the 6 signature solutions. One of them is actually the environment. Also, there's clean, affordable energy, and Access project is part of these approaches. And within UNDP, there are also other energy projects. There are M3, there's AdLife, UNPage, NTREF, and PMR. And each of these projects collaborating closely with the government of Indonesia. So every time UNDP have implementing any projects, basically it's in collaboration with the host government. So electrification is an important goal to reduce economic inequality. And although in Indonesia, we're close to achieving 100% electrification, but there are still plenty of communities, villages, doesn't have any access. And it's quite challenging for the government to address this situation. One of it, because of the limited funding resources from the government. And as you know, Indonesia is an archipelago and it has so many islands. It's quite difficult to reach locations. And even in main island, the communities live in the remote area, so it's quite difficult to reach. And also there are high initial costs of investment in renewable energy. And of course, once the renewable energy is built, the government and the counterpart needs to make sure that it is sustainable. So For access itself, it started in 2018 when KOICA, which is the Korea International Agency, opened a call for proposal. This is for the initiative under Clean Energy and South-South Triangular Cooperation. And UNDP responded to this call. And last year, in April, we signed an agreement between the Indonesian government, represented by the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, KOICA Indonesia, UNDP Indonesia as the implementing partner. And also we collaborated with Timor-Leste, and from the government part, it's the Ministry of State Administration Timor-Leste, KOICA Timor-Leste, and UNDP Timor-Leste. And this is also the highlight of the South-South Triangular Cooperation. And after the agreement, the project is prepared, the project management unit recruited, and by September, the project was officially launched. And this is the target by the end of the project, which is at the end of 2023. We are hoping that we can complete the construction of the solar PV power plants in 23 villages in Indonesia. So the total installed capacity will be 1.2 megawatt in total. And for Timor-Leste, we have slightly different target. We will build 11 solar water pumps and also provide 1,000 solar lamps, which is the high efficiency solar light for communities in Timor-Leste. And hopefully through these infrastructures, we could provide access to electricity to 20,000 people in Indonesia and Timor-Leste. And of course, by constructing this solar water pump, hopefully we can help providing access, clean access to 3,500 people, community members in Timor-Leste. And not only constructing infrastructure, we also want to make sure that the community who will receive the infrastructure have the capacity to manage, to maintain the power plants or the solar water pumps once it's completed and handed over to them. So we are going to train selected local operators from the communities, and we are targeting at least 30% of them are women. We have an ambitious target, 50%, but we also, even 30%, it's still challenging, but we are aiming for that. And why is that challenging? Because I see here most of the participants actually men, yeah. And when we did our feasibility study, we tried to identify within the community where we are going to work, you know, the background, the education of the communities, the skills that the community has. And most of the youth, the community members that we identified, they are men that could be potentially be trained and certified as the operator. But to achieve this 30% target, we are also recruiting youth as energy patriots. There are like about around 140 applicants received a few months back. And out of these 140 applicants, 23 people are selected. And they've received intensive training from UNDP, from our counterparts, and also the previous implementer of this Energy Patriot, which is IBECA, to prepare them with skills and knowledge to live in the community for the next 18 months, to prepare them in being ready for these infrastructures that are going to be built. And also, these energy patriots will help the community to establish 33 renewable energy service enterprise at local level, which is at the village level. And why we want this to happen, also to make sure that in addition to have operators who will maintain the infrastructure, there will be an institution that helps manage the power plants, the solar water pumps, once it's ready, so it will be sustainable. Okay, so here's where we work. In Indonesia, the targets are in 4 provinces. In Central Kalimantan, we will work in 4 villages. In West Sulawesi, we will work in 4 villages as well. In East Nusa Tenggara, we will work in 7 villages, particularly in Sumba Island. And in Southwest Sulawesi, we will work in 8 villages. As I mentioned earlier, we also work in Timor-Leste, and in Timor-Leste, we will work in 3 municipalities. So, since I mentioned earlier, we also want to touch upon the SDGs. As you know, recently there's this UN General Assembly occurred a while ago, and we highlight this part. And I also want to highlight some of the goals that Access will contribute upon. For SDGs number 7, which is the clean energy, of course, through the construction of the communal solar power plant, we will provide clean energy access. And for SDG 6, the solar water pumps will provide easy water access to communities in Timor-Leste. But the other goals, we will also contribute, like the SDG number 1, the energy access will increase business productivity, hopefully. By having electricity, maybe the community will have new businesses that will help increase the income, and that will contribute to no poverty. And for education, the solar lights will provide light for local children to study at night. And also for climate action, for instance, the solar power also emits less pollution and contribute in the reducing emission. And for SDGs number 5, we are targeting the local operators to be around at least 30% of the total operators. And for SDGs 10, we would like to increase welfare and quality of life by reducing inequality. All community members, doesn't matter which group they belong to, will have the same access. And for SDG 17, we prospect for more collaboration through different nations. Like right now, it's Indonesia, Timor-Leste, and Korea. So mentioned earlier regarding the Energy Patriot, this is the event we had last week. It's the inauguration, the virtual send away by the Director General of EBTKE. And these are the 23 Energy Patriots who will be living in the community for the next 18 months. And they will help the community to get ready. And also I'd like to mention a little bit, while Access is providing electricity, it also collaborates with the Ministry of Communication and Information. And from the government part, the Access project with the Ministry of Energy and mineral resources will provide electricity, and Cominfo, they will provide internet access. So community in these 23 remote areas will have access not only to electricity, but also internet that will provide them with multiple opportunities with information and so forth. So with this, I'd like to close my presentation, and hopefully by engaging the youth, I would like to extend my invitations for everyone here to help spread out the information, the cause, awareness through the social media. We have information posted in LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. We also posted our information in our website. And within our Access project, we also have one intern as representative of the youth, and he's been supporting us, particularly in the communication aspect. So yeah, I think I'm going to close the presentation and give it back to you, Mbak Amanda. Thank you.
Oh, amazing. Give her a big applause for Miss Sherry. It's not about it's not just about education and environment, but it's also about the, what is that? If Indonesia, I know it's the development of 3T oh, what is that? Councils, right? 3T, daerah 3T. Well, it was amazing that I know now there's a community such there's a project such there's such a project like Access that is concerned about the development of the 3T daerah 3T. And now I guess we're going to have question and answer session with Miss Sherry. And for those, like in the previous session, you can ask us through the Slido. Just scan and give your question. Well, now, Miss Sherry, we already have 3 questions in our Slido. The first one is, how can we help as college students regarding the access? Maybe this is asking about how can we participate in access, how to approach access itself.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for all these questions and interest in Access project. So the project is actually quite, how do you say it, like already set up, yeah? The activities already set up, the targets already set up. And we would like to invite others to be familiar with what we do and help to spread out the cause on the shift of focus in renewable energy. In the earlier presentation also, it was highlighted, you know, the renewable energy is the future and the youth are also the future. So it's a good match. And same with the Access project, we are hoping that you can also help in, you know, sharing about all these efforts done by the government, done by different counterparts on the provision of electricity to all these communities in remote areas. There are so many options, you know, while Access is focusing on solar panels, also there's micro hydro, for example, that can be done in the community. So yeah, helping spreading out the information and see increase awareness and maybe when we have activities, you can also participate in it.
Okay. Thank you, Miss. So I hope it can answer the question. So now we're going to move to the second question. How should we as the youth, promote this level of action and create this sense of urgency to the younger generation? Maybe I will add, is it enough to just spread it through social media? Or we need more than just social media spreading info?
Of course, we need action, right? Rather, more than just spreading the information. Yes, and I'm sure everyone's here coming from different areas, different backgrounds. Maybe some haven't had the opportunity to go to remote areas, but some probably coming from the area where you don't have electricity, like some of our energy patriots. A few of them grew up in the area where they didn't have electricity, and they really adamant about joining the Energy Patriot program to help other community to understand about, like all this needs process. And also there are things within the community that they need to be prepared as well. Getting ready to have these power plants needs readiness. So helping the communities, consultations, engaging them in active collaborations, identifying which area that still lack of access to electricity, and perhaps I see you can raise that in different forums. Like right now is the International Forum, but there are still many other platforms that you can highlight these needs. And when you have opportunity also to communicate with different companies, for instance, also raise this maybe to get them more aware, to get them invest to the renewable energy. That can also be ways.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss. And now I guess we skipped we skipped a question above the first question, and I guess this one is very important.
Yeah,
because
I like this question.
It relates with the today's condition.
Yes.
This person asked, how much does the COVID pandemic affect this project, the Access project itself? Are there any delays, and how do Access cope with the situation, especially when Access is hoping for more youth to join the movement? But yeah, this pandemic really hesitate the youth movement even just to study itself. Well, are there any delays or maybe difficulties?
Yeah, definitely. You know what? Since, as you see in my presentation, the project was agreed. The agreement was signed in April 2020, and since we all joining the project, we haven't seen the office. So we've been working from home. And actually, last week was my first time ever stepping into the office and know where I sit. So for almost a year, we work remotely, but we have to cope, right? And in terms of delays, yes, there's been some delays, but slightly related to COVID. Actually, it's more into the preparation stages. Because we will construct 23 infrastructures, the off-grid solar PV power plants. And there's a little delay on that, the preparations, because it's a huge internal approval. But also, in related to COVID, we recently deployed these 23 energy patriots, right? to all these 23 villages. And during the preparation, we really need to make sure that, everyone's following the health protocols. Originally, at the beginning, we thought we will convene everyone and have an intensive training face-to-face somewhere where we can interact, do simulations personally and so forth. But because of the situation, we couldn't do that. So we had to adapt it, and we conducted virtually and also in person. So in person, we divided the group into 4 different locations. So instead of gathering 23 people in one location, we conducted the training at each individual provinces where it's smaller and it can be more controlled in terms of health protocols. And we also kept reminding our energy patriots to also follow, make sure that they have vaccination. First of all, we didn't want to send somebody who will cause the problem later on in the community, right? So we follow what the government's advice. Although UNDP actually have its own protocols, but in general, we follow what the government's advice. So yes, there are some delays, but it's been managed, and hopefully the situation improve, and that we can also, the project team can also go to the field and see, because at this moment everything is virtually.
Good to hear that everyone is still having progress, Miss. And by the way, it is now Indonesia, especially, is now coming to a new normal condition, isn't it? Is there any plan that from the access itself that those programs, the socialization and also the trainings, are going to held offline? Is there any? Is there already any plans?
Not anytime soon. Like I
Like,
said, UNDP is very strict.
I see.
We just, allowed to go to the office only last week. So that's how strict it is, and it's only 25%. So it's very limited. But yes, we can attend face-to-face meeting right now. But very minimum. We just want to make sure that everyone's still healthy. We will try to identify which ways to slowly adapt to this new normals, but not as easy as prior to the pandemic, right? Yeah.
Me myself, I think I consider the program that the offline training will be very interesting.
Yeah, me too.
I'll join one, I guess.
Yeah, completely. But
yeah, that's all we can do today, Miss. So going to the next question, it's actually a very interesting question because it has a relationship with the campus program. So this person asked, my campus take a part of Campus Merdeka. Can students join the Patriot Energy and get the SKS from the program?
So the Patriot Energy is actually for Access Project. Yeah, it's already been recruited. So we already have 23 patriots who already received trainings and who's been deployed to all these 23 locations. But I'm sure there will be other opportunities because this Patriot Energy is actually the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources program. It's not just access. Before it's managed by IBK. And the ministry has different modalities in arranging this Patriot Energy, because if it's only solely relying on the government, it's probably quite difficult. And that's why there are other modalities like partnership, like what we have here with Access Project. And also there are others, Patriot Energy, like funded by the CSR. So I'm also, promote you to frequently check on the website also of the Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure, Mineral Resources, especially the EBTKE. That's the Director General of New Renewable Energy and Energy Conservation. So usually there's initiatives, invitations. They also actively communicate through their social media. And if they are recruiting, please feel free to join in, because I know recently they are recruiting 100 people through other channel in this Patriot Energy. So, and in terms of SKS, for SKS, I think you also need some agreement, right? I'm not really sure on how things work here, but we are hoping we could also be the providing venue for you to learn, because Access not only built the infrastructure, but it also helped the community, prepare the community to get ready in receiving this infrastructure through selecting local operators, establishing the institutions. So you can see how a comprehensive way to manage these renewable energy infrastructures through Access Project. So we've been talking about this, providing venues for interest students, making it as a learning platform. And of course, we can discuss it further. But since we're still in the beginning of we're still in the procurement process of this infrastructure companies, and it's still in the early discussions, but it's already in our radar. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry, unfortunately, this has been the last question, and we have to close the Q&A session. So, Miss Sherry, thank you very much for all of your answers and, of course, the presentation. It opens our eyes about how big youth roles can be in renewable energy, and the support to support the developing councils, developing place. And I would like to thank you again and again, because this talk show has been so incredible, and I really hope that we can meet again in another occasion, Miss. So
thank you, Ramanda, and please follow our social media to get updated to the information on our projects and other activities.
Okay, so guys, please, if you really want to be the patriot, please follow Access Instagram. And before we close this session, we're going to have a photo session, Miss. Okay, get ready, people, and please turn on your camera. Okay, I'll do the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Okay, again, one more time. 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much, Miss Sherry, for your presentation. I hope you have a very blissful day today.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you, Miss. And so we are going, after we have 2 talk show sessions with interesting, incredible speakers, we're going to have the 3rd talk show, but unfortunately it won't be me who will be the moderator for you guys. The next talk show will be conducted by the next moderator, my friend Tabina. And so, Sabina, the screen is yours.
Yeah. Hello, all. So nice to be you here. First of all, I'm sorry if there's any background noises because apparently I'm still outside. So yes, please bear that in mind. So I'm sorry. Firstly, I think without further ado, we could start with the next presentations. The speaker is not is I think it's a very cool. A very cool woman with an abundance of experience, and especially in the in enhancing the quality in energy. And she's currently working in USAID for the E4CEA project here in the Southeast Asia. Please welcome Ms. Frey Piramia.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Tabina. It's very nice for me to be participating in this event. My name is Pra Pirom, and I'm from Thailand, and I'm based in Bangkok right now. So many greetings, although we are in the same time zone as Jakarta. Tabina, shall I present my slides now?
Yes, you can start immediately.
Let me do that. All right, can everyone see my slides?
Yes, it's okay.
Yes, it's very clear.
Okay. All right. So good afternoon, everyone. Selamat siang. Saya Pra, and I am working on a USAID project, and the name is very, very long. It's called Enhancing Equality in Energy for Southeast Asia, but you can call it E4C for short. So I'm very honored to be here. So thank you all for having me here with you. I will go through 4 very brief sections in this 15-minute slides. The first is to introduce what USAID is and who my team is, and the purpose of this program, the highlights that we have from our stakeholder consultations in Indonesia, and then I'll end with the concept of collaboration with Indonesian organizations for the next 2 years. So I don't know if you all have heard of the United States Agency for International Development, but they've been around for 60 years. This year is exactly the 60th anniversary of USAID, and it's basically the US government's arm in international development. And they've been working on development all over the world in over 100 countries for all these 6 decades in various areas ranging from agriculture to education, environment and climate change, energy, and right now the hot topic is very much gender equality and women's empowerment, and of course the COVID-19 pandemic, public health, and so forth. This is the team that is working on this particular program, which is really the nexus of energy and gender equality. And I am part of the company called Core International, which is the prime contractor of this USAID project. And we also have a major subcontractor, a big company, Tetra Tech, and also another quite medium to large company called Cadmus is another consultancy. And so it's a very short program, only 3 years, but we do have 3 contractors working on it. This is the team in Bangkok. My boss is the chief of party, Mr. Khan Ramintra. I myself, I'm the deputy chief of party. And my background basically is I have about a decade's experience of sustainability management consulting. And that includes sustainability strategy, framework, corporate sustainability assessment and reporting. And I have this experience in various sectors, including the energy sector, of course. In this project, because it's very much about gender equality, we do have gender experts, such as my colleague, Napapan, and we have a change management specialist because it's very much about change management in organizations. And we have communication specialists, learning specialists, and monitoring and evaluation specialists. Yeah. So if you look at this bar chart, if you look at the very bottom to see how women are represented in the global energy sector, you'll see that the second last bar is at 25% women in energy and mining, which is very, very low. And that's why we have this program to work on that, to improve the situation in Southeast Asia, including Indonesia. Sorry, it's raining here. I'm gonna yell. Okay, so you probably know this since you are in Indonesia, that in the Southeast Asian context, gender inequality is a critical factor when it comes to opportunities, socioeconomic opportunities for everybody. In terms of sustainable development, you need women to participate as much as men in order to make it sustainable. Okay, and gender imbalance in the energy sector is mainly from two factors. One is the unequal social position of women in Southeast Asia, and also because energy institutions are not just in Southeast Asia, but globally very much male dominated. It's full of men. There are not enough women. Okay, and there's another USA program called Engendering Utilities that worked with utility companies all over the world, and they found in their research that women were excluded from a whole bunch of jobs within the electric power distribution companies. So that's very similar to all of the energy sector in Southeast Asia as well. So why do we need to address gender equality in business and in the energy sector? Well, because the energy sector is really, really important for Asia Pacific's socioeconomic growth. Okay, all the growth is happening in Asia. We're the ones who are winning at it, in the whole world. And so we need to make sure that women are as much involved as men. And if you do promote gender equality, you will get the benefits, which includes increased profitability and organizational performance. So McKinsey quantified what we're missing just because we don't have enough women in the global economy in a proper way. We're missing $12 trillion in the entire world economy just because of the unequal position of women around the world. And if you do promote gender equality, of course, you're going to make your company's reputation better. It's better for your brand value. It's better for your talent attraction and retention, especially with Gen Z and millennials, right? Because the young generations these days, they do not plan to spend their entire life at one company. They want to hop around and get as many diverse experiences as possible. So if you do get talent, it's very expensive to lose them. The turnover in each company is very, very costly. So gender equality is a big factor that can help alleviate that to keep the talent. In brief, the program, as I said, is only 3 years long. We have about $9 million from the US government to work in 7 Southeast Asian countries. And the overall goal is to increase opportunities for women and girls for the Southeast Asian energy sector. And we want to see the outcomes of increased workplace diversity. Sorry, guys, it's like thundering here. Inclusive workplace environment and equitable promotion opportunities. Okay, let me go on. There are 5 objectives in our program. The first one is the research, right? Before you want to make any changes, you have to make sure that you have a very good understanding of the situation and the local context. So in order to do that, we identify the core challenges through stakeholder consultations and also through a quantitative survey in order to collect quantitative data. And I'll tell you a little bit about that in the next slides. Objective 2 is to increase the number of women and girls pursuing careers in the energy sector. That means that we will be working with universities and vocational schools to encourage women and girls to be interested in the energy sector and see it as a very good opportunity for their future employment. And objective 3 is to increase the recruitment, retention, and promotion of women in energy companies. And through that, we have to work with energy companies, for example, in Indonesia, to help them understand the problems and help them solve those problems and decrease the barriers for women in the energy sector. Objective 4 is to work on the mentorship and leadership programs with the energy companies, as well as the universities and vocational schools. And there are lots of opportunities there. Objective 5 is to enhance the communication, collaboration, and learning overall for multi-stakeholders. So those are the 5 objectives of this program in 3 years. So we've already finished the in-depth interviews and focus group discussions in Indonesia as part of the stakeholder consultations. And in summary, we had 14 in-depth interviews. 7 of those, half of those were with NGOs, foundations, and networks, including big influencers in Indonesia. And we had 1 interview with an Indonesian university. We had 1 interview with the public sector. And then we had 5 interviews with Indonesian energy companies. Besides that, we had 10 focus group discussions, and we broke these down into male and female junior engineers, mid-level engineers, university students, high school students, and vocational school students. So what did we find from these stakeholder consultations? Well, these are just some highlights, and I couldn't fit them all on one slide, but these are just the highlights from the in-depth interviews, and I can tell you verbally about the focus groups. Basically, from the in-depth interviews with key stakeholders, we found that the science, technology, engineering, and math areas of study are very important for women to enter the energy sector. Okay, the non-STEM areas are important as well, like finance and business and law, for example. But if you want more women in the energy sector, you do need engineers who are female. And the barriers that are keeping them away from pursuing STEM and affecting the low number of women still pursuing STEM is because of the social cultural beliefs around gender, the cultural values and the social norms that affect the decision making. So an Indonesian girl or woman might be really, really interested in engineering. She may pursue it if she has enough support and self-confidence, or she might back out of it during university or once she enters an energy company. So those are the things that we really need to address together with our partners. The mindset is very, very important. And this, if it's a negative mindset, it really affects the HR personnel during the recruitment and retention of women within the energy companies. And so we'll be working on everything, the whole employee life cycle, starting with internships between the universities and the energy companies to reverse these mindsets, to make them positive and welcoming to women as much as men. And yes, in Southeast Asia, we are seeing more and more female engineering students over the years. Like 20 years ago compared to now, it was very low number. And now we have more and more female engineering graduates. But overall in the Indonesian energy sector, the number of female engineers is still very, very low. And very important during university studies is the career guidance. And we found that Indonesian young women are not getting, not just young women, but also men are not getting enough career guidance in the prospects of the energy employment opportunities. And so we'll be working with both the universities and the energy companies to make career guidance much, much better so that it's attractive to women to work in the energy sector. And more importantly, the energy networks and also engineering networks for men are very clear and very established, but we still need to really strengthen this for women. And last but not least, and it's probably the most important one, I myself did not grow up with female role models in STEM, but I've met so many of them in Indonesia in the past 5 months. So it's very inspiring for me to see that Gen Z and millennials will get way more female role models in STEM and in energy. So it's very exciting. Besides the in-depth interviews, we've literally just finished the focus group discussions last week, and it was super interesting. We found that Indonesian men are very supportive of Indonesian women, but there are a lot of unconscious bias, is what we called it. Unconscious bias is having prejudice or being discriminating and not being inclusive towards women without the intention to be. So a lot of people intend to be really, really nice to women and to welcome them and to include them in everything, especially in engineering and energy sector job opportunities. But because we're not aware of our biases, there are things that are still negatively affected, and that ultimately keeps women's numbers very low in the energy sector. So those are the main highlights that I wanted to share with you from our stakeholder consultations. This is a snapshot of what we are going to be working with in terms of the partnerships with energy companies under Objective 3 and also Objective 2 with the universities and vocational schools. Once we do have a formal partnership with them, we will help to strengthen their HR policies. We have a best practices framework. We have an organizational assessment tool. We'll be providing training of trainers on unconscious bias, for example. We'll help them strengthen the internship programs to make it very gender inclusive, as well as the mentorship programs, which is so crucial for women who are pursuing more senior roles, as well as leadership skills development. And from all of this, what's not written here, which is really, really obvious, is to create employee pride. If your company promotes gender equality, your employees wouldn't want to leave. They would be really proud to work there. So that's the kind of workplace that we want to foster with our partners. And it helps the companies with their thought leadership, their performance, their resilience, especially during a pandemic, and of course, to improve the HR and operational efficiencies overall. So this is an example of what a mentorship program may look like. This one USA did through Engendering Utilities with Tata Power's Women in Leadership League. So these are the types of things that we would like to establish with the Indonesian partners in the next 2 years. And this is my last slide. So the value proposition to our potential partners is very simple. Whether it's an Indonesian university, vocational school, or energy company, we want to help strengthen the brand enhancement, the strengthened networking, and linkages between energy companies and other development partners. Doesn't have to be just the US entities, but also the development agencies from other countries. And it's really a huge opportunity to expand a robust internship program that is very gender inclusive. It's an opportunity to engage with different partners on cooperative regional programs for Southeast Asia. And of course, it's to really enhance the academic curricula to be very much about diversity, equality, and inclusion. So that's it. I leave you all with this last picture of strong Indonesian women leading the way, and just some female leaders in the West who are leading some big energy companies, and of course, the future of renewable energy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Gray, for the amazing presentation. It's very interesting. And I, too, before we moved on to the attendees' questions, I want to ask you first about the one of the objectives. One of the objectives of the out of the 5 is the promotion, the insufficient role models for women and girls in STEM or engineering or energy sectors. There's a lack of, I think, just the popularization and just the lack of, what's it called, like exposure for these women. What do you suggest what we should do for that to overcome that problem and achieve that objective?
You're asking about role models, right?
I'm asking about role models, of how we promote role models, women role models, because one of the objectives that you said is the lack of women role models.
Yes.
So how can we overcome that?
Yes. So like I said during the presentation, I did not grow up with a lot of female role models in STEM. And I'm 40 years old this year, so I'm Generation X. And I'm very excited and very inspired because in the past 5 months, I've been meeting so many Indonesian female role models in STEM. There's so many of you. You in Indonesia are very, very lucky to have such leading women in your country, in engineering, in science, and technology, and math. And so we'll be working with our partners on promoting these women, and also men who are supportive of women in leadership and leading women in all areas, especially energy and STEM. And so it's just a matter of highlighting and profiling these amazing individuals on a wider scale. And it's so easy these days through, for example, social media. And so that's the type of thing that we'll be doing during this this program for the next 2 years. So very, very simple answer is we're going to be showing as many Indonesian girls and women, as many female role models as possible from Indonesia and as well as Southeast Asia and as well from the whole world. There's so much to share.
Nice. It's very good to hear that, because me personally, I am currently working in a mining company, and most of the time, well, always, I'm the only girl in the room. So it's very encouraging to hear that. Maybe we can move on to the attendees' question about the unconscious bias. It's still prevalent in Indonesia, especially by Indonesian men. What do you think is the root problem of the bias, and how do we take action against it?
Yeah, that's a really deep question on what is the root cause of unconscious bias. I think the simple answer, because I really can't identify the root cause for you, and that will take years of studies, I guess, and like a PhD thesis. But based on having lived in Indonesia as well, not that I know everything, but I did grow up in Indonesia as a teenager, and I love Indonesia very much. And Indonesians on all islands are very, very kind, smart people. And I think that unconscious bias, it doesn't matter what country it is. It's a universal thing. You have unconscious bias because somebody hasn't informed you otherwise, right? You're lacking the awareness. And I think that the best way to break down the unconscious bias, of course, is through communication and engagement and leading by example, but also like sensitization and empathy. And I think it's very good to step out of yourself very often, and put yourself in somebody else's shoes. So if it's a man asking, hey, how can I get rid of my unconscious bias? Imagine yourself for an hour as a woman. In your position, how would it be different for you if you were a woman? And I think that would really help men understand their own unconscious bias. Just to be kinder to one another and to listen to each other more. We definitely grow up with gender roles instilled in us, right? And there's nothing terribly wrong with that. It's just that when it's too restricted, then it becomes too limiting for women or for other gender orientations, right? So a lot of times men are given more room, more freedom, more choices, and so just be more aware that when you have a group of people that there's gender balance. Just be aware that just because there's a woman in the room doesn't mean that she's not the leader or she doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And, so it's not just about appearance. It's really about communication and engagement and opening up your minds.
Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. And I do agree with you. We have to, communicate more and better, let's say, educate ourselves in this matter by sharing our experiences and give more thorough understanding, I guess, with the women in our communities, but also with the men. And maybe it's one of the last question, I think. The one big reason why women needs to be largely involved in energy sectors. So I think the question here is just if you could describe this one reason, what would you choose? What kind of word maybe you would choose, or a phrase for it to answer?
Sure. Yeah. The formal word is energy transition, but I guess in simple terms, it's clean energy, right? So think of air quality, everyone. If we want air quality, if we don't want air pollution, if we want to breathe very, very well in every island in Indonesia and all over the world, we don't want the emissions problem anymore. We need women's participation in the energy sector because if you keep having the same decision makers as men, for the past 200 years, it's only been men's decisions, basically, how we utilize energy resources, which energy resources to use, how to use it, how much to use it, where and when, and who gets the benefits. It's all been decisions of men, right? And there's no reason why it should be reserved to just men's decisions. Indonesia's resources belong to women as well. So women need to take ownership and to participate in the energy sector as much as men, if they want to. If they don't want to, no problem, right? But if they want to, and if they're capable, there shouldn't be any barrier for a woman to be involved in one of the most important sectors of the world economy. Without energy, you cannot have good hospitals. Without energy, you cannot have you cannot have your smartphones and your virtual reality sets, your Nintendo or Xbox or anything. You know, everybody needs energy in order for our society, our human society, to develop and to evolve sustainably with more fairness and transparency. We need women's participation because women think differently from men. I mean, everyone thinks differently from each other as individuals. But when you just have men, things are done in a certain way. But if you have diversity of minds, if you have men and women and people of different ages and ethnicities and backgrounds and perspectives, then you have better choices and better perspectives and better decision making. So the biggest reason why women need to be very, very involved, especially in the Indonesian energy sector, is because we want a better quality of life for everybody.
Okay, that's a very good question, and I truly agree with you with that. Maybe here is one from the chat box, the comment box, from Amanda. Lately, a lot of gender equality movements group have started to bloom across Indonesia and maybe the whole Asia Pacific. Do you think this is significant enough to change society's mindset about gender equality for the work environment, or do we need maybe more than that?
Yeah, it's such a great start, you know, and your government is very progressive in supporting the women's participation from a policy point of view, and they're starting to implement it very seriously. And we hope to be working with various private sector partners on that to see it through. But yes, it's a great start, but it needs more. Definitely, it needs the engagement at the grassroots level. So we need schools, elementary schools, or even kindergarten, you know, to be informed, to be equipped, you know, and to be engaged in the dialogue about why girls matter as much as boys and why a girl's future is just as important as a boy. So, you know, it's all about opportunities and access. So everything from education to employment to healthcare to livelihood, everything should be more equal. And so we need to really keep the momentum going with the dialogue about gender equality. And then that will ultimately lead to a much more inclusive workplace environment. I think in some companies, including Indonesian companies, they have very, very good workplace cultures, very, very good. And it's usually because they have a good leader. They have a great CEO who is very fair to both men and women, and they have very good corporate governance, right? But it's not the case in every company. So, you know, whatever will get the engine going, we need to help each other achieve that.
Okay. Yeah. I guess this is the only time that we have right now, sadly. I hope we could meet again sometime soon with maybe more time for us to talk about these issues. So thank you so much, Ms. Frey, for a very insightful presentations and also insightful answers. Now, I think the last thing we have to do is the photo session from the guys in SRE. Are you guys ready? Yes. Wait. Okay. Now, maybe because this is the last. Sorry, because this is the last part. Maybe we could all turn on our camera. so we could see all you guys' faces and yeah, take pictures. Okay. One on my count. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Again, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, then. Thank you so much, Miss Frey. Once
Thank
again.
you so much, Tabina. Very much
Yeah.
looking forward to talking to you again.
Yes.
Terima kasih banyak, everyone.
Thank you. Terima kasih banyak. Okay, then maybe after this, I could give it back to the MC Kanar.
All right. Yes, thank you, Tabina. So that was our last speaker. Everyone, please give a big round of applause to Ms. Prey as our last speaker of Cooperation Chamber IYSRE. And that was another wonderful talk to close up our today's event. Thank you again to all the speakers here. There's Ms. Dian, Ms. Sherry, and Ms. Prey. Thank you for the insight, the invite to participate, and of course, spending your time to give back to the students here by giving a brand new perspective on global issues and actions taking place. I myself am very grateful to listen to everyone here. I love what UNDP, RESD, and also US8 has been doing here in Indonesia and also globally. And hopefully I myself and IYSRE participants here could join and contribute in the future. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of the entire event of International Cooperation Chamber of International Youth Summit for Renewable Energy 2021. And as the master of ceremony, I am very grateful to all those parties who helped us in actualizing IYSRE 2021. We cannot forget our sponsors who have made this event possible: IYSRE International, Geodipa Energy, Kilat Wahana Jenggala, New Energy Nexus, PT Thorcon Power Indonesia, and also Jet Orbit. And before closing off, we would also like to thank our partners: University of Malawi, University of Technology Mauritius, UNICAF, APATE 62 Brawijaya, Environmental Oil and Gas Study Club Meloka, Ikatan Mahasiswa Teknik Lingkungan Indonesia, IATMA SMTB, Indonesian Youth Opportunities in International Networking, Euclid University, Team Inferno, IAAS LCUGM, European Biogas Association, Solar Cooker International, Kelompok Studi Pasar Modal FEB Undip, BEM FMIPA UNY, Kelompok Studi Lingkungan Universitas Airlangga, SPE Islamic University of Riau Student Chapter, Diponegoro MUN Society, Forum Studi Teknik Universitas Diponegoro, Undip Robotics Development Center, Himpunan Mahasiswa Mesin Fakultas Teknik Universitas Brawijaya, Himpunan Mahasiswa Sipil Fakultas Teknik Universitas Brawijaya, European Association Geoscientists and Engineers, University Brawijaya Student Chapter, SPE Universitas Gajah Mada Student Chapter, Yayasan Binaan Terbudaya, Student Energy Chapter, Universitas Prajajaran, Lembaga Eksekutif Mahasiswa Fakultas Teknik Kehutanan, Universitas Gajah Mada, UGM IGM Team 2021, HMO Triton ITB, Himpunan Mahasiswa Teknik Lingkungan ITB, Keluarga Mahasiswa Teknik Penerbangan ITB, Institute of Industrial and System Engineers Universitas Indonesia, Ikatan Mahasiswa Metalurgi dan Material Fakultas Teknik Universitas Indonesia, Nano Research Fakultas Teknik Universitas Indonesia, Ikatan Mahasiswa Elektro Fakultas Teknik Universitas Indonesia, Ikatan Mahasiswa Program Internasional Fakultas Teknik Universitas Indonesia, Foreign Policy Community of Indonesia Chapter, University of Indonesia, Model United Nations 2021, Himpunan Mahasiswa Mesin ITS, English Students Association, Alliance for Rural Electrification, Himpunan Mahasiswa Hubungan Internasional, and Universitas Pertamina. We would like to apologize for any mistakes during this program. And once again, we are really thankful for your participation. Don't forget that we have the IYSRE awarding ceremony later today at 4 p.m. Make sure to be there and see the awardees of IYSRE events. And with that, the International Cooperation Chamber of International Youth Summit for Renewable Energy 2021 has finally ended. My name, Kenneth Mahibarimanto, as the Master of Ceremony, signing out, and I hope to see you all later in another event. Thank you everyone for coming, and thank you for the speakers for giving the talk. Thank you everyone. I'll see you guys at 4 p.m. for the awarding ceremony.
Thank you
Goodbye.
very much, guys. See you again.